Welcome into the show. It's day 4 of NFL free agency. The Philadelphia Eagles haven't made any moves over the last 2 days, so it's a perfect time to hand out some Eagles free agency grades up to this point because Howie Roseman, first couple of days of the free agency period, very, very busy. And then at the end of the show, we'll take a look at some of the top free agent targets available who Philadelphia could still sign. You look at all of the moves that this front office have made. And they've been extremely active. They've been aggressive as they are every single offseason in trying to improve their football team. And I'm just going to hand out grades for all of these transactions that we've seen up to this point. When you lose Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox to retirement, two franchise pillars, franchise icons who have been captains for this team for more than a decade, you have to retain one of those captains and one of those decade-plus long members of your football organization in Brandon Graham. Eagles bringing him back on a 1-year deal. I think it's going to be between $4 and $5 million is really what the rumored price tag is going to be. Critical in the locker room. Still getting the job done on the field. 2 years ago, came off a torn Achilles and had 11 sacks. This past year, the sack numbers went down to 3, but his Pro Football Focus grades were really good. We'll see what happens with Josh Sweat and or Hassan Reddick. Reddick could get dealt. Sweat could get released outright. You sign Bryce Huff, we'll get to him here in a bit. Nolan Smith going to take on a larger role, but you need another defensive end in this scheme. Brandon Graham's going to be that as a rotational guy. Next up, Landon Dickerson. By the way, Brandon Graham, I'll give that grade an A. 15th and final season in an Eagles uniform. He deserves that. Landon Dickerson, another move with the contract extension here that I really like. Second round pick in 2021. All he's done since coming to Philadelphia from Alabama, where he was a center, he moved to left guard for the Eagles. All he's done is play great football. He's been durable. He's been consistent. He's been critical in short yardage situations on the tush-push, brotherly shove. He's been really good in pass pro. He's been one of the best left guards in the game. He's made it to Pro Bowls in back-to-back years, gave up 3 sacks this past year. And keep in mind, it's hard to do that when you have a mobile quarterback behind you. 4-year, $84 million contract extension, $50 million guaranteed, $21 million per year. Is the largest salary in NFL history for a guard. And he certainly earned that. I'll give this move a B+ because obviously the money is lucrative. Bryce Huff, perfect Howie Roseman player. Coming off a career high 10 sacks, had 67 quarterback hurries a year ago while playing less than 50% of the snaps. He's 25 years old. UDFA, he's had to earn everything that he's gotten, and this is a player that's starting to emerge, starting to ascend. And when you get a player like this, $17 million, when the edge rusher market is also very lucrative, and if he gives you double-digit sacks throughout the course of this contract, $17 million per is really good value. And really what you have to look at this and look at all these contracts in this manner is the guaranteed money, $34 million. So pretty much it's $17 million per over the next 2 years. If you want to cut bait after that, you have that flexibility to do so. I'll give this move a B. Saquon Barkley, 3-year, $37.75 million deal. With incentives, it's basically $26 million guaranteed. So this is pretty much a 2-year, $26 million deal, $13 million per. It is a lot to pay a running back that much money. Totally agree. Because I'm at the forefront of the charge of don't pay running backs that much money. DeAndre Swift gets $8 million. But Josh Jacobs with the Green Bay Packers is getting $14 million this year. Who would you rather have? Saquon, who's a better pass catcher, better dual threat back, and a better pass blocker, or would you rather have Josh Jacobs? And when you think about this Eagles offense, what are the needs on this offense? They don't really have any. Cam Jurgens goes from right guard to center, maybe right guard. You're good at offensive line. You're good at tight end. You're good at wide receiver. You have cap space. Why not splurge on a great weapon who can run it, who can catch it, who you are going to utilize better than the New York Giants? They barely ran him out of the shotgun. He averaged a yard more per carry throughout his career running from the shotgun. Ran behind an awful offensive line with New York. And this can be an overall weapon for your football team. So I like this move. I've warmed up to it. Context matters. The financials matter. I'm giving this a B grade as well. Make sure you subscribe to us here on the show for the best free agency coverage and for videos every single day right here on the channel. We try to be as informative, entertaining, insightful as possible. I think we've been able to do that with thought-provoking content as well. Hit that sub button. We appreciate it. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks, the best daily fantasy sports app in the game and the only DFS app that you should be using. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. You pick 2 or more players. You choose more or less on their projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money. $100 deposit match available at prizepicks.com/CLNS. So you put in $100 using that link, you get $100 back. How about this James Harden special for Thursday night? More than 3.14 points, cash money. Bradley Beal against Boston, good matchup on Thursday. More than 1.5 3-pointers made. And then Jason Tatum, less than 29.5 points. Frank Vogel, head coach for the Suns, a defensive-oriented head coach. I like that right there. Pick more, pick less. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. You can win big money and withdraw your winnings all within the app. More free agency grades. Zack Baun, 1 year, 3.5. It's like a C grade for me. You address linebacker, but not really because he's not an off-ball coverage linebacker. He's more of a pass rushing off-ball linebacker. And up to this point, the Eagles have not addressed off-ball linebacker. It was the biggest issue, I believe, on this defense last year. Continues to be a big issue. And Baun doesn't really move the needle for me, so I think a C grade is justified right there. Matt Hennessy, 1 year deal to be a backup guard, backup center. It's not bad. Like, he was up for the Remington Trophy when he played at Temple University. He was a second-team All-American. He had offers from Yale, Harvard, very smart player. His Pro Football Focus grades, when he's been able to stay healthy, are very, very solid. So when he does stay on the field, impactful player. 2022, because he missed all of last year, the run grade was 82.6. So a good athlete who can get out in space on some of those pull blocks, get to that second level. He's been hurt, though. So this is like a C-plus grade for me. Devontae Parker, 1 year, $4.69 million deal, fully guaranteed. But the New England Patriots are eating and paying almost all of that salary. The Eagles are on the hook for $1 million plus. He has been last in separation each of the last 4 years, but he can high point the football. He's a bigger body at 6'3", 219. You throw it up, he might be able to come down with it. And when he plays alongside A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, it's not a bad third option, maybe even a fourth option. Maybe he doesn't even make this team. 2019 had more than 1,000 yards, hasn't come close to sniffing that since then, but not a bad backup option. I'll give this a B- C+ range. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, another one of the big splashes here for the Eagles. 3 years, $27 million, only $10 million guaranteed. My perfect offseason plan, I said, bring him back. Instinctual player, big-time playmaker. 7 interceptions over his last 15 games. The Eagles' defense, it needs the injection of swagger and confidence. That's what Chauncey Gardner-Johnson brings you, and $10 million guaranteed when Xavier McKinney is giving $17 million per year. This is a great team value deal. This is a great need deal, and he's a really good player. A grade right here. Jake Elliott, 4-year, $24 million contract extension. He was 7 of 8 last year on kicks of 50-plus yards. He was 30 of 32 on his kicks in 2023. In his playoff career, he is a perfect 15 of 15, including 5 of 5 in the Super Bowl. And $6 million per year ties him with Justin Tucker for the most dollars per year for a kicker. He's worth it. He's the best kicker in the game, in my opinion. Long range, clutch gene, consistency, still young at 29, A grade. So what's been your favorite free agency signing so far for Philadelphia? My overall grade with what Howie Roseman's been able to do has to be about B+, A minus in that range. I think he's done a really, really good job. Top free agents available. Keep in mind, this list has been fluid, so I'll tell you the players who have signed with other teams so far today because this list has changed. This is the list going into day 4. Justin Simmons, safety. I think CJ Gardner-Johnson takes you out of the running if you're Philadelphia for Justin Simmons. Look out for the Titans there. Eric Armstead, 3-year, $51 million deal. The former Niner reunites with Trent Baalke, signs up with Doug Peterson, former Eagles coach. He's getting a bag. Tyron Smith, offensive tackle, wouldn't rule out a return to Dallas. Marquise Brown, you want a vertical burner, field stretcher? He can be that guy. Chase Young, wouldn't be a bad scheme fit for what Vic Fangio wants to do. Josh Reynolds, not a bad secondary wide receiver, but the Eagles are good there. Jadeveon Clowney, career year this past year with Baltimore. I'd like to see him go back there because I love the scheme fit, but he might try to chase a bag. Mike Williams, big body wide receiver, let go by the Chargers because of cap reasons. Eagles aren't going to be in the running for him, and they pretty much got that tall wide receiver in Devontae Parker plus Mike Williams. It's going to be way too expensive. DJ Reader did sign a deal, and he got paid. He's going to the Detroit Lions, a good pickup for Detroit. Cam Curl, honestly, him and CJ Gardner-Johnson with Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown as backups, you'd be loaded at the safety spot there, and maybe Reed Blankenship becomes the starter. Cam Curl is a backup. If the price is right, might entertain it. Do you want a slot wide receiver in Hunter Renfrow? I think you have it in Britton Covey if you give him more snaps. Very similar players, not just because they're both white. Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver, very shifty. Still think he has a little bit of wiggle to his game, but I just don't see it making sense for Philadelphia. DJ Wanham re-signed with he went to the Carolina Panthers and got a pretty good bag. He had 8 sacks last year with Minnesota. Kevin Zeitler, if you want an interior defensive lineman. Stephon Gilmore, Eagles could be in the market for a corner. According to reports, they're on the hunt for a linebacker as well as a corner. The dream free agent target for Eagles fans everywhere, Devin White. Blazing fast, a bullet train, sack production, tackle production. When engaged, he's played really well. I think this move makes way too much sense for it to not happen. Andres Pete, offensive lineman, tackle guard experience. Coleman Shelton signed with the Bears. Steven Nelson, former Eagle, ripped the fan base. Good there. Trent Brown, offensive tackle, former Pro Bowler. Eagles are fine at offensive tackle. Laken Tomlinson, really good with the Niners, awful with the Jets. Got a bag. Play went downhill. Julian Blackmon, another good safety there, and a solid option if you want to go that route. Mekhi Becton, he's still young, crazy athleticism. I'm interested to see where he goes and if he gets playing time. Xavier Howard, he excelled under Vic Fangio. And obviously he's older, his best days are behind him, but alongside Darius Slay, if you really need corner help, you're in a little bit of a financial tie with James Bradbury, you could go that route as well. Connor Williams, not a bad center, interior offensive lineman. Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle. I think the Eagles need a fourth. You have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams. You need to round that out. They might go that route in the draft. Tyler Boyd, not a bad backup wide receiver. Curtis Samuel, signing with the Bills in a move that I really like. You put him alongside Stephon Diggs, $8 million per, great value. Jerome Baker, right up there with Devin White. Eagles need a linebacker. Devin White, Jerome Baker, the top 2 choices, and then Jordan Fuller, safety for the Rams. Who do you want Howie Roseman to sign next? Let us know down in the chat. Don't forget to hit that sub button. Thanks for watching the show as always.